Today we going to see extra chromosomal or cytoplasmic inheritance. So certain characters are controlled by non-nuclear genome found in the chloroplast, mitochondria, infective agents and plasmid. So the non-nuclear genomes means other than the nucleus, the DNA is present in some of the cytoplasmic organelles like chloroplast, mitochondria, infectious agents, that is in the virus particle also having the DNA which is seen in the cytoplasm. Okay, and the plasmid is an extra chromosomal ring seen in the bacteria. So these are considered as cytoplasmic chromosomes, cytoplasmic organelles, chromosomes, and they do not follow the Mendelian pattern of inheritance. Mendelian pattern means that is gamete formation, fusion of gametes, and the parents' characters are inherited to the offsprings, that is young ones. This is called Mendelian pattern. But this cytoplasmic inheritance doesn't follow this Mendelian pattern of inheritance. And the extra chromosomal genes are inherited are to be more influence of maternal characters, that is the mother characters are more here other than the father characters. Because for example, we the human beings, we are in the mother's womb during the zygote stage. The father's part is there, but the more, that is 10 months we are in the mother's womb uterus. So we get most of the characters from the mother side. So that is from the genetically the germ cells are coming from the father and mother, that they are giving equally, but the other characters, most of the characters are from the mother side. So you must know the definition for extra chromosomal inheritance. The cytoplasmic extranuclear genes have a characteristic pattern of inheritance which do not resemble the genes of nuclear chromosome and is known as extrachromosomal or extranuclear or cytoplasmic inheritance and exhibit maternal influence. Now you understand the point what I have explained before this definition. So cytoplasmic inheritance is seen in some animals, can be studied in shell coiling in Limnia, kappa particles in Paramecium. So shell coiling in Limnia. So Limnia peregrina is a freshwater snail and it is spirally coiled. Anti-clockwise, clockwise coiling. So clockwise coiling is called dextral and anti-clockwise is called sinistral. So different patterns of coiling is seen. So different genes are going to govern these different pattern of coiling, and this differences is occurred due to the cleavage, that is dextral cleavage and sinistral cleavage. So the normal coiling is dextral coiling and the mutant coiling, that is the mutant coiling is sinistral coiling. So it will depend on the direction determined, okay, determine the genes, that is for this direction, that is dextral or sinistral, there is some genes are for governing these characters. So capital D is dextral one and it is dominant, and small d is sinistral for sinistral. The small d gene is for sinistral and it is recessive. So a dextral, now before we going to see the explanation, we will see the cross between the thing. So this cross, so what they are asking means the capital D is dextral one and small d is small d is sinistral one. So here what they are taking is the dextral capital D from the mother, that is female, and small d is from the male. So capital D denotes dextral coiling of the snail, and small d, that is sinistral coiling of male, that is sinistral coiling of male. So this one is the sinistral coiling, here it is male and here it is female, so they crossed. So in the F1 generation, all are dextral, that is capital D small d, that is heterozygous condition, capital D small d. And now this one is self crossed, and in self crossed in F2 generation also we get all dextral, that is capital D small capital D 1 and capital D small d 2 and small d 1. So that ratio is 1 is to, the ratio is 1 is to 2 is to 1 ratio. In the ratio we are getting this that is in this F2 generation. So now what happened means this F2 generation, that is it is one of it is, that is maybe male can be reciprocal, that is the one of the F2 that is one of this is crossed with the male one. So what happened, it is a reciprocal, okay, male one. What happened, that is here what they had took means the sinistral has female, and this dextral as considered as dextral snail considered as male. So consider as male, okay. So in F1 all are sinistral. So sinistral coiling, that is sinistral coiling, which is which is the character of the mother, that is female. And in F2 after selfing you get 1 is to 2 is to 1, that is you get 1 is to 2 is to 1. That should be, we have to got like this, in this like this condition we have to get. But here we have all dextral is formed. So no changes takes place in F2 generation, all are dextral. So again this F2 is self-cross, the F2 condition is self-cross. That in F3 generation we get 3 is to 1, 3 dextral is to 1 sinistral, and same way here also 3 is to 1, that is 3 dextral is to 1 sinistral. So Y means the cross, that is the ratio, the character is depend on the maternal, that is mother character. If the mother character is dominant, the character is appeared in the F3 generation and F2 generation in this side of the chart, and same way it is reciprocal, where here we took the female, that is sinistral type, that is egg. The egg is sinistral type and it is crossed with dextral. In first generation you are getting all sinistral, and in the second generation there is no change because there is no meiotic or mitotic division takes place. And in F3, that is the F2 is self crossed, in F3 you are getting the sinistral 1 and 3 dextral type. So what it shows mean, in first generation the maternal character comes, that is the dominant one comes, appears, it resembles the same. But in generation after generation, in the next generation, even here in the sinistral stage, this stage here the sinistral stage is not appeared, all are dextral. But in the next generation you got 1 is to, that is 3 is to 1 ratio, dextral is to 1. So this depends on the maternal, that is the female character is to expose, that is the cytoplasmic genes, that is the cytoplasmic genes are taking part in the shell coiling. So we will see the explanation. So A, dextral, the dextral snail contains egg and sinistral snail is sperm. In F1 generation, dextral, capital D, small d, heterozygous condition is applied. Self-crossed, F1 is self-crossed, and in F2 you are getting dextral coiling, all genotype with a ratio 1 is 1 DD, that is capital D, 2 capital D small d, and 1 small d, which is seen in the figure left side. And when a reciprocal crosses takes place in the right side with a male, the figure right side figure, and in F1 generation all are sinistrally coiled from the female parent they got it. Okay, here the any dominant condition is not seen, only the female character, that is a recessive condition also, the female parent character is exposed. In both the crosses, the F1 are phenotypically similar. Okay, the right side and the left side crosses, they are similar in the F1 generation with capital D, small d, and the dextral this side, that is left side it is dextral, and in the right side it is sinistal, which is the character of the female parent we crossed. And this is due to that the female parent character is exposed as the phenotypic character in F1 generation. And in the F1 sinistral individuals, they are self-crossed. The shell coiling in F2 generation is dextral, that is after reciprocal the F1 is self-cross, means we are getting all are dextral. In the right side you can see, right side cross you can see they are all dextral. Why this dextral appears means there is no segregation of a genes takes place. Due to that we get it. In F3 we get, after the F2 is self-crossed, in F3 we are getting 3:1, that is 3 dextral is to 1 in both the crosses. So that is why means the maternal controls affects only in one generation, but each generation it is dependent on maternal genotype. So only in the first generation the maternal character is applied, is exhibited, is exposed, but generation after generation in F2 it is not coming, means in F3 it is exhibiting the maternal character. So here the maternal character, that is the maternal character is dominant over the other character, that is dominant over the paternal character. So next we move on to the kappa particles in paramecium. So Sonborn and his associates had reported the kappa particles in paramecium. So I will explain the diagram, and after we come out to the explanation part. So kappa particles. So this is the capital K is called the killer gene. If the capital K is seen in that is the kappa particle is called the kappa particle present in an paramecium, then it is called killer, that is killer paramecium, because it synthesizes a toxin called paramecin, and this kappa particle is sensitive to some other object, that is other organisms of the paramecium. It is controlled by small k. So if capital K is killer disease and small k is sensitive to that, so what we're going to see is, first they are going to conjugate means fusion, that both the paramecium are fused, okay, fused, and now the nucleus is transferred. So one of the paramecium contains K kappa particles and another one is small k, that is no kappa particles, they are sensitive. So what happened after fusion, after conjugation it contains this paramecium contains capital K, small k, and here also capital K, small k. So now the fission appears. In the fission it produces first, that is capital K, small k, and here also capital K, small k. So it is killer type paramecium is produced, but here the small k is seen, so it is sensitive to the kappa particles, okay. This is one type. And in another type, capital K, this one capital K, that is kappa particle is present in the paramecium. And another one is the rare conjugant. The rare conjugant means here from this they took it. So the rare conjugant type they fused. In F1, the first generation, the both are having capital K, small k, here also capital K, small k. Now the fission appears. From this also you get a killer type, 2 killer type paramecium, that is kappa particles are present in it, and here also the kappa particles present, that is killer type. So what is this is a normal explanation I had given based on the diagram. But what is the real fact is the kappa particle is an parasite, that is parasite or symbionts. So they are living inside the host, but they are not giving any harmful to it. And this report was studied in Paramecium aureole. Okay, for Paramecium aureole. So these kappa particles are the killer particles, and some of the organisms are harmful to it, and they produce sensitivity, that is sensitive to the kappa particles. And these kappa particles are seen in this kappa particle contains the bacteria called Campylobacter taenios spiralis. So this bacteria is attacking, this bacteria having two genes, N form and B form. The N form is infective one, and it is responsible for the killer, that is killer type, that is it produces our bodies. So our bodies which is attacked by the bacteriophages, only the viruses can attack it. So the bacteria is attacked by the viruses, so it produces the killer type called kappa particles. But in B form it is not very much effective. So if the B form is not very much effective, so now you can see the explanation. See, so Sonborn and his associates has reported the kappa particles in Paramecium aureole. So kappa particle is a cytoplasmic symbiont. It lives in the cytoplasm of Paramecium, and it synthesizes a particle toxin called paramecin. So, and the particles, that is lethal, these kappa particles are lethal to the sensitivities. So they appear either in a parasite or in a symbiont, and they does not harm to the host. So the gene K dominant killer paramecia, and small k that doesn't appear kappa particles in the particular paramecia. And here the same as shell coiling, it is also not following the Mendelian pattern of inheritance. So the conjugate, the next the diagram, the killer type, how they are mixing. And first in this, why this part is sensitive, and here it is killer means the conjugation takes place in a short duration. So because of this, only the nucleus are fused, the cytoplasm doesn't fuse. Before the cytoplasm fusion, the paramecium separated from the conjugation, so they are called X conjugates. So due to this separation, the kappa particles are not, that is particle genes are not allowed in this sensitive type. But here the duration is long, so the kappa particles are enter into it. The cytoplasmic fusion takes place equally. They get the particles in both the paramecium, daughter paramecium. So because of this only we are getting both types, that from the paramecium conjugate you are getting the killer type offsprings. So it is responsible for the, what is responsible for the paramecium? Here it is the cytoplasm. Only the cytoplasm can able to produce these kappa particles, and they are living, that is the particular bacteria is living as an symbiote in the cytoplasm of paramecium. So the cytoplasm only can allow the kappa particles to produce the particular genes, that is capital K or small k, capital K, small k means it produces sensitive. So due to this only here you are getting the killer type. So next the kappa appears, that is the kappa is seen in the bacterium Campylobacter taenios. So it has its own DNA, it replicates autonomously, it replicates in the cytoplasm, and it has two forms, N and B form. The N is infective and it passes from one paramecium to another paramecium. So it specifies the killer type of the paramecium, that is killer kappa particle of the host cell. So N form is attacked by the bacteriophage. because of it, it produces our bodies. So where it is produced, it is an additional one seen in the kappa particles, and this kappa particle, this R bodies, is converted to B form. So the R bodies can be seen under the light microscope. So the light is refracted through the R body. It is transparent particle, and the B form cannot able to replicate as like N form. So it is lysed, that is, it is killed. So due to this, it cannot be that is, however, it confers the killer specificity on the host. So within the cell, it often lies, so it cannot has the specificity to kill the host cell. So the viral DNA or the kappa DNA coats the toxic substance paramecium, but till now either of the viral DNA or the kappa DNA going to produce the paramecium. Till now it is a puzzle to the scientists. The research is going on the paramecium, where it is come, in which particle, in the viral DNA or in the kappa DNA. So till now it is a puzzle for the researchers to find out where the toxin paramecium is present. It is not known. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any doubts, post your doubts in the comment box. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe Science Easy Tech channel.